Musa al Sadr, Arabic letter Aleph, Arabic letter Lam, Arabic letter Aleph with Hamza below, Arabic letter Mim, Arabic letter Aleph, Arabic letter Mim, Arabic letter Mim, Arabic letter Wa, Arabic letter Sin, Arabic letter Aleph Makshara, Arabic letter Aleph, Arabic letter Lam, Arabic letter Sad, Arabic letter Dal, Arabic letter Ra, Persian, Arabic letter Sin, Arabic letter Farsi, Arabic letter Dal, Arabic letter Mim, Arabic letter Wa, Arabic letter Sin, Arabic letter Aleph Makshara, Arabic letter Sad, Arabic letter Dal, Arabic letter Ra. The 4th of June 1928, disappeared in Libya on the 31st of August 1978, was a Lebanese-Iranian philosopher and Shia religious leader from a long line of distinguished clerics tracing their ancestry back to Jabal Amil. Born in the Chehar Mardan neighborhood of Qom, Iran, he underwent both seminary and secular studies in Iran. He belongs to the Sadr family from Jabal Amil in Lebanon, a branch of the Musawi family tracing to Musa ibn Ja'far, the seventh Shia Imam, and ultimately to the Prophet Muhammad through his daughter Fatima. Therefore, Musa al Sadr is often styled with the honorific title Sayyid. He left Qom for Najaf to study theology and returned to Iran after the 1958 Iraqi coup d'état. Some years later, Sadr went to Tyre, Lebanon as the emissary of Ayatollahs Barujerdi and Hakim. Fawad Ajami called him a towering figure in modern Shia political thought and praxis. He gave the Shia population of Lebanon a sense of community. In Lebanon, he founded and revived many organizations including schools, charities, and the Amil movement. On the 25th of August 1978, Sadr and two companions departed for Libya to meet with government officials at the invitation of Muammar Gaddafi. The three were last seen on the 31st of August. They were never heard from again. Many theories exist around the circumstances of Sadr's disappearance, none of which have been proven. His whereabouts remain unknown to this day. Early life and education. Family background. Musa al Sadr came from a long line of clerics tracing their ancestry back to Jabal Amil. His great-great-grandfather Salibi, Muhammad Sharafdin, a high-ranking cleric, was born in Shawar, a village near Tyre, Lebanon. Following a frantic turn of events related to an anti-Ottoman uprising, he left for Najaf. Sharafuddin's son, Sadruddin, left Najaf for Isfahan, which was then the most important center of religious learning in Iran. He returned to Najaf shortly before his death in 1847. The youngest of his 5 sons, Ismail, as Sadr, was born in Isfahan, in Qajar ruled Iran, and eventually became a leading mujtahid. The second son of Ismail, also named Sadruddin, was born in Ottoman Iraq and also decided to settle permanently in Iran. He became Musa al Sadr's father. While living in Iran, Sadruddin married a daughter of Ayatollah Hussein Tabatabai Khomi, an Iranian religious leader. She would become Musa al Sadr's mother. Early life. Musa al Sadr was born in the Chehar Mardan neighborhood of Qom, Iran, on the 4th of June, 1928. He attended Hayat Elementary School in Qom, where he attended seminary classes informally. He started his official seminary education in 1941. His teachers considered him a quick learner and remarkably knowledgeable for his young age. After a while he started teaching other students lower-level courses. This coincided with the liberalizing of Iranian politics. The political climate of his time was secular, so that most religious scholars felt politically and socially marginalized to have some influence in the national life. He concluded that he had to become familiar with modern science in contemporary world. As a result, he started a full secular education alongside his seminary studies. He moved to Tehran, where he completed a degree in Islamic jurisprudence, fiqh, and political sciences from Tehran University and learned some English and French. He then returned to Qom to study theology and Islamic philosophy under Allama Muhammad Hussein Tabatabai. In Iraq following the death of his father in 1953, he left Qom for Najaf to study theology under Ayatollah Musa al-Hakim and Abul Qasim Kui. There he had teachers such as Ayatollah Hakim, Sheikh Mortaza al-Yassin, Ayatollah Abul Qasim Kui, Sheikh Hossein Hilli, Sheikh Sajrabad Kubai, and others, some of whom became marja after Ayatollah Barujerda's death. Musa al Sadr became a mujtahid in the Najaf. In 1955 he traveled to Lebanon where he met Abd al-Hussein Sharaftin. He had met him previously in 1936 when his family had hosted Abd al-Hussein in Iran. The same year he left Iran and returned to Najaf, and, in the autumn of 1956, he married the daughter of Ayatollah Azizullah Khalili. Returned to Iran after the 1958 Iraqi coup d'état and the overthrow of the monarchy in Iraq, Sadr returned to Iran. There, he accepted the request of Ali Davani, who was sent by Ayatollah Shariat Madari, and became an editor of Darshaya's Maktab-e-Islam, also known as Maktab-e-Islam, a journal published by the Haza of Qom and endorsed by Ayatollah Barujerdi. He began contributing with the third issue, focusing on Islamic economics, a novel subject at the time. His articles in this field were then published as a book. He soon became the journal's de facto editor-in-chief. He left the journal in December 1959 along with some of its original founders. Musa Sadr also took part in devising a new scheme for Haza called Tariqat-e-Islahi Haza, which was then withdrawn, in cooperation with Muhammad Beheshti. In 1959, Sadr founded a private high school which provided an alternative to the state educational system for observant parents. Departure to Lebanon. Musa al-Sadr declined Ayatollah Barujerda's request to go to Italy as his representative and instead left Qom for Najaf. There Ayatollah Musa al-Hakim urged him to accept an invitation to become the leading Shia figure in Tyre, succeeding Abdul Hussein Sharif al-Din, who had died in 1957. He left Najaf for Tyre in late 1959, as the emissary of Ayatollah Barujerdi and Ayatollah Hakim. At the request of some clerics, he later made several trips to Iran delivering several lectures such as Islam is a religion of life and The world is ready to accept the call of Islam. The latter included presenting his experiences in Lebanon and emphasizing the need to work towards the betterment of Muslims. In 1967, Imam al-Sadr traveled to West Africa to get acquainted with the Lebanese community and inspect its affairs and worked to link them to their homeland. He also met with Ivorian President Félix Houphouët-Boigny and Senegalese President Léopold Sédar Senghor and provided symbolic assistance to orphans in Senegal. Senghor praised the Imam's gesture, pointing out that he is following his activities with great interest, which had a great influence in spreading the feeling of love and faith among the citizens. Sadr, who became known as Imam Musa, quickly became one of the most prominent advocates for the Shia population of Lebanon, a group that was both economically and politically disadvantaged. Sadr worked tirelessly to improve the lot of his community, to give them a voice, to protect them from the ravages of war and intercommunal strife, said Vali Nasser. Sadr impressed the Lebanese people by providing practical assistance, regardless of their sect. He was seen as a moderate, demanding that the Maronite Christians relinquish some of their power, but pursuing ecumenism and peaceful relations between the groups. In 1969, Imam Musa was appointed the first head of the Supreme Islamic Shia Council, SISC, in Lebanon. Arabic letter Aleph, Arabic letter Lam, Arabic letter Mim, Arabic letter Jim, Arabic letter Lam, Arabic letter Sin, Arabic letter Aleph, Arabic letter Lam, Arabic letter Aleph with Hamza below, Arabic letter Sin, Arabic letter Lam, Arabic letter Aleph, Arabic letter Mim, Arabic letter Ye, Arabic letter Aleph, Arabic letter Lam, Arabic letter Shin, Arabic letter Ye, Arabic letter Ain, Arabic letter Ya, Arabic letter Aleph, Arabic letter Lam, Arabic letter Aleph with Hamza above, Arabic letter Ain, Arabic letter Lam, Arabic letter Aleph Makshara, an entity meant to give the Shia more say in government. For the next 4 years, Sadr engaged the leadership of Syrian Alawis in an attempt to unify their political power with that of the Twelver Shia. Although controversial, recognition of the Alawi as Shiite religionist came in July 1973 when he and the Alawi religious leadership successfully appointed an Alawi as an official mufti to the Twelver community. He revived the Jamiat Albert W. Alishan charity, founded by As-Sali B. Muhammad Sharafdin, and gathered money for the Social Institute, Al-Mu, Asasa al-Ijtima, an orphanage in Tyre. In 1963, Sadr established a sewing school and nursery named the Girls' Home, Beit al-Fatat. The same year, he established the Institute of Islamic Studies, Mahad al-Darasat al-Islamiyya. In 1964, Sadr started Burj al-Shimali Technical Institute, whose funding was provided by Shia benefactors, bank loans, and the Lebanese Ministry of Education. In 1974, he founded, with Hussein al-Husseini, the Movement of the Disinherited. Arabic letter Ha, Arabic letter Ra, Arabic letter Kaf, Arabic letter Tamarbira, Arabic letter Aleph, Arabic letter Lam, Arabic letter Mim, Arabic letter Ha, Arabic letter Ra, Arabic letter Wa, Arabic letter Mim, Arabic letter Ye, Arabic letter Nun, to press for better economic and social conditions for the Shia. They established a number of schools and medical clinics throughout southern Lebanon, many of which are still in operation today. Sadr attempted to prevent the descent into violence that eventually led to the Lebanese Civil War by beginning a fast in a mosque in Beirut. There he was visited by Lebanese from all factions, both Muslim and Christian. Yasser Arafat and Syrian Foreign Minister Abd al-Halim Khadim also visited him. Formation of a national unity cabinet resulted from the meeting, and Sadr's attempt to establish peace was a temporary success. During the war, he aligned himself with the Lebanese National Movement and Movement of the Disinherited, and in cooperation with Mustafa Chamran developed an armed wing known as Afwa al-Muqawamat al-Lubnaniyya. Arabic letter Aleph with Hamza above, Arabic letter Fa, Arabic letter Wa, Arabic letter Aleph, Arabic letter Jim, Arabic letter Aleph, Arabic letter Lam, Arabic letter Mim, Arabic letter Kaf, Arabic letter Aleph, Arabic letter Wa, Arabic letter Mim, Arabic letter Tamarbira, Arabic letter Aleph, Arabic letter Lam, Arabic letter Lam, Arabic letter B, Arabic letter Nun, Arabic letter Aleph, Arabic letter Nun, Arabic letter Ye, Arabic letter Tamarbira, better known as Arabic letter Aleph with Hamza above, Arabic letter Mim, Arabic letter Lam, meaning hope, which assembled youth and educated generation of Husseinis and Moussawi families. Shia were the only major community without a militia group in the land of militias. UMA was created by Sadr to protect Shia rights and interests. However, in 1976, he withdrew his support after the Syrian invasion against Palestinian and leftist militias. He also actively cooperated with Mustafa Chamran, Sadegh Fatzadeh, and other Iranian Islamist activists during the Civil War. Sadr and Chamran had an important role in the Islamic Revolution of Iran. They were involved in protests against the Shah out of Iran. According to Deputy Ali Kharis, Musa Sadr and Chamran were the backbone of the Iranian Revolution, and how one cannot speak of the Iranian Revolution without mentioning these two people. In addition, Sadr was instrumental in developing ties between Hafez Assad, then Syrian president, and the opponents of Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, Shah of Iran. Personal life. Musa al Sadr maintained strong family relations with political leaders in Iran, Lebanon and Iraq. Musa al Sadr is related to noted Iranian individuals, namely Sayyid Tabatabai, his nephew, as well as Mohammad Khatami. His wife was a niece of Musa al Sadr, and Ayatollah Khomeini's son Ahmad Khomeini. His wife was another of Musa al Sadr's nieces. Sadr's son was married to Khomeini's granddaughter. His sister, Rabab al Sadr, is a social activist who does charity work, and also a painter trained in Italy who earned a doctorate in philosophy, her paradigm being influenced by Soren Kierkegaard. Charisma. Musa al Sadr has been referred to by Fawad Ajami as a towering figure in modern Shiite political thought and praxis. According to him, even American diplomats effusively described Musa Sadr after meeting him. He supports his claim by referring to a cable sent home by George M. Godley, a U.S. ambassador to Lebanon. He is without debate one of the most, if not the most, impressive individual I have met in Lebanon. His charisma is obvious and his apparent sincerity is awe-inspiring. In Lebanon, he had garnered significant popularity due to his good rapport with young people. Standing at 1.98 meters, 6 feet 6 in, scholar Fawad Ajami describes Sadr's charisma and magnetism as such. Lebanon has long been the country finicky about the looks, the aura, al-haiba of a leader. The Shia in particular have been noted to be a people of some vanity. In the Shia tradition, the imams were not only morally infallible men, an imam was said to be masum, not subject to error, but also physically perfect beings. A blind man or lame man would not have been accepted as an imam. Musa al Sadr, a handsome man of striking looks, was true to his people's fantasy of what a man of piety and distinction and high birth slated for bigger things should look like. He was, in addition, a dazzling speaker in a culture that exalted the spoken word and those who could express in classical Arabic what was on the minds of others. And Sayyid Musa winked at traditions with a daring uncommon to men of his clerical calling and background. He was a hit with women, who admired his looks and his elegance and were pleased that they did not have to scurry out of living rooms and meetings when he arrived, as they did with ulama of more conservative outlook. As befitting the man of the religious mantle, he refrained from shaking hands with women, and his aides and companions forewarned Christian women who were to meet him that they should not try to shake hands. But even this prohibition was violated now and then. A woman who admitted being drawn to him, being nearly hypnotized by him, once held out a hand to him, and he took it between his two hands, saying that he was not supposed to do so, and that he was doing what he shouldn't be doing, that he would not do it again. Disappearance. On the 25th of August 1978, al Sadr and two companions, Sheikh Muhammad Yaqub and journalist Abbas Badreddin, departed for Libya to meet with government officials at the invitation of Muammar Gaddafi. The three were last seen on the 31st of August. They were never heard from again. It is widely believed, at least by Lebanese Shia Muslims, that Gaddafi ordered al Sadr's killing, but differing motivations exist. Libya has consistently denied responsibility, claiming that Sadr and his companions left Libya for Italy. However, supporters of the missing cleric pointed out that al Sadr's baggage was found in a Tripoli hotel and there was no evidence of his arrival in Rome. Airlines could not confirm that al Sadr had ever flown to Italy from Libya. Al-Sadr's son claimed that he remained secretly in jail in Libya but did not provide proof. Sadr's disappearance continues to be a major dispute between Lebanon and Libya. Lebanese Parliament Speaker Nabi Berri claimed that the Libyan regime, and particularly the Libyan leader, was responsible for the disappearance of Imam Musa al Sadr, as London-based Asharq al-Awsat, a Saudi-run pan-Arab daily, reported on the 27th of August, 2006. According to Iranian General Mansour Khadr, the head of Syrian security, Rifat al-Assad, told the Iranian ambassador to Syria that Gaddafi planned to kill al-Sadr. On the 27th of August 2008, Gaddafi was indicted by the government of Lebanon for al-Sadr's disappearance. Following the fall of the Gaddafi regime, Lebanon and Iran appealed to the Libyan rebels to investigate the fate of Musa al-Sadr. Political analyst Ruula Talj has said that Gaddafi's son, Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, told her that al-Sadr and his aides, Muhammad Yaqub and Abbas Badreddin, never left Libya. According to a representative of Libya's National Transitional Council in Cairo, Gaddafi murdered al-Sadr after discussions about Shia beliefs. Sadr accused him of being unaware of Islamic teachings and of the Islamic branches of Shia and Sunni, and Gaddafi became enraged and ordered the murder of Sadr and his delegation. According to other sources, Gaddafi had al-Sadr and his companions murdered at the request of Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat. At the time, the Shias and the Palestinians were involved in armed clashes in southern Lebanon. According to a former member of the Libyan intelligence, al-Sadr was beaten to death for daring to challenge Gaddafi at his house on matters of theology. In an interview with Al on TV, Ahmed Ramadan, an influential figure in the Gaddafi regime and an eyewitness to the meeting between al-Sadr and Gaddafi, claimed that the meeting lasted for 2.5 hours and ended with Gaddafi saying, "Take him." Ramadan also named 3 officials who he believes were responsible for the death of al-Sadr. Legacy. Imam Musa al Sadr is still regarded as an important political and spiritual leader by the Shia Lebanese community. His status only grew after his disappearance in August 1978, and today his legacy is revered by both Umal and Hezbollah followers. In the eyes of many, he became a martyr and a vanished imam. A tribute to his continuing popularity is that it is popular in parts of Lebanon to mimic his Persian accent. The Umal Party remains an important Shia organization in Lebanon and looks to al-Sadr as its founder. According to Professor Syed Hossein Nasser, his great political influence and fame was enough for people to not consider his philosophical attitude, although he was a well-trained follower of long-living intellectual tradition of Islamic philosophy. Works al-Sadr wrote a long introduction to Henry Corbin's History of Islamic Philosophy. Al-Sadr's paper Islam, Humanity and Human Values was published by Al-Ubaid World Assembly. Unity of the Islamic Schools of Thought according to Imam Musa Sadr includes a biography and an English adaptation of one of his books, Imam Musa Sadr, Surashi Wadat, Mamajani Takrabi Madhabi Islami, 2004. Institutions Imam Musa al-Sadr Center for Research and Studies, Beirut, Lebanon Sadr Foundation, Tyre, Lebanon Sadr Foundation, Dearborn, Michigan, United States Imam Musa Sadr High School, Tehran, Iran. See also: List of people who disappeared. List of Shia Muslim scholars of Islam. Modern Islamic philosophy. Mohammed Baqir al-Sadr. Mohammed Sadak al-Sadr. Lebanese people in Iran. References. External links: Imam Musa al Sadr online news, Imam Musa al Sadr website, Imam Sadr Foundation, Hagshanas, Sayyid Ali, Social and Political Structure of Lebanon and its Influence on Appearance of Umal Movement, Iran, Tehran. 2009.